All right, today we're talking about the Miami Heat following their loss in the NBA Finals and where they go from here. How can they come back and return to the finals after making a historic playoff run, one for the ages, honestly. No one anticipated them getting as far as they did. So look, 5 things. If you guys do enjoy the video, like, subscribe. Thank you guys very much for watching. First and foremost, I think the Heat, they need to add a star, okay? When you look at their playoff run this season, right? And especially against the Nuggets, their role players have absolutely stepped up when needed. Obviously not all in one game, but they all had their moments, right? Kyle Lowry played his fucking heart out in the NBA Finals. You got Caleb Martin, who absolutely torched the Boston Celtics. You got Gabe Vincent, who also torched the Boston Celtics. You got Max Strus, who also torched the Boston Celtics. You got Duncan Robinson, who showed he's far more than just a shooter. You got guys like Haywood Highsmith stepping in and giving you quality minutes. Like, these are all contributions that they exceeded their expectations. But when it comes to the final series against the Nuggets, what was obvious was the talent disparity between the stars and also the upper tier role players, which is what the Heat are lacking. They have great role players, but they don't have those high-end starters, high-end role players like the Aaron Gordons or even like the Bruce Browns of the world, right? And so that's what they're missing. I think in the finals, actually, Bam Adebayo, for example, he played exceptionally well. I was someone that doubted him. I'm not going to lie, right? I didn't see him playing as well as he did. He was probably the Heat's best player in the finals as a whole, if I'm being 100% honest. But if you look at this, if you look at him as a player and the Heat team as a whole, Bam can't be, right now, I don't think he's the second best player on the championship team. I think he's the third best player on the championship team who's capable of being that second best player on the championship team. And he's not a Robin, if that makes sense. So I think what the Heat need is another go-to guy, another superstar, or a high-end all-star, right? And so when I look at this Heat team as a whole, when I look at the rest of the NBA landscape, I just think I don't see the Heat returning to the finals without a major roster shakeup. I mean, obviously they had a historic run, but when you look at their free agent situation, you got Gabe Vincent, who's a free agent. You got Kyle Lowry, who's going to be aging a year. He's not a free agent, but he's aging a year. You got Max Strus, who's going to be a free agent. You got Victor Oladipo coming back from injury. You got all these little factors. It's hard to see them coming back into the finals with the exact same core. And you combine that with the fact that the new CBA collective bargaining agreement, look, I don't know all the fucking terms and conditions of it, but it's set to kick off next season, and it's going to make acquiring, stars which are making a ton of money a lot more harder for the NBA. So like the NBA landscape is going to be a lot of duos. So you probably won't expect to see many big threes following this season. And so if the Heat are going all in to commit to a championship, Jimmy Butler's aging, now is the time. They have to, cash in on all those assets. And they do have a decent amount of assets, right? When you look at what they have available for trade, whether for a star player, you got Tyler Herro. His extension is going to kick in next season, 4 years, $120 million. That's definitely good money when it comes to matching superstar salary. You got 3 first-round picks which are trade eligible. Their 2023 pick, 28, and 2030 pick. And then you got a lot of other players which teams they do want. Caleb Martin, for example, is on a pretty good bargain deal for 1 more year, I believe, and then he has a player option. He's going to be someone that a lot of teams will be wanting. And you got guys like Haywood Highsmith, maybe like Nikola Jokic. I'm not too sure, right? But they do have some assets there. And so when I look at who's going to be available in the open market, potentially for a trade, there's a lot of names that come up. You look at the Toronto Raptors, for example. If they decide to head towards a rebuild, Pascal Siakam, VanVleet, those are 2 guys, right? You got Damian Lillard, who's been rumored a lot to the Miami Heat. Obviously, he's come out and said that he would be interested in the Heat. I don't know if he's taking the piss or if he's being dead-ass serious. You also got some Kyrie Irving rumors going around. Obviously, Kyrie and Jimmy Butler. I forgot which interview it was, but one of them said, I think it was Jimmy, who said that Kyrie is the guy he wants to play with in the NBA the most. And so you got those guys. You got a few other players who I think their value has kind of tanked. They're not that great, but they can definitely still help out the Heat. Like guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle even. You can buy low on those guys, right? So there's a lot of potential moves which the Heat can make to improve their roster. And so a lot of those names I suggested actually fit into my second point, which is for the Heat to add a reliable big. Bam can't do everything out there. You need to get him help in the front court. It doesn't even need to be like an all-star level player. Just someone who can actually who's at least 6'8" and can play, bro. Like, that's honestly it. You look at the Heat roster right now and the big men they have. Cody Zeller is fucking ass, okay? Kevin Love, look, he's a great vet. He can't be the second best big man on a serious team on a serious playoff contending team. He's just not that guy. Kevin Love, I think, is a fourth big man on a good team right now, okay? And then you got guys like Yetsavan, Jovic. They've shown flashes of, interesting potential, but do you really think they're going to be ready to contribute next year? And do you really think Eric Spoelstra is going to play them next season? Look, I don't think so. And then the other alternative is what they did this season, right? A combination of Butler, Martin, Haywood Highsmith playing the 4. That's just not going to solve it. So some of those names that this could be tied in with that first point in terms of adding a star. So if you get that Pascal Siakam, even a Karl Anthony Towns or a Julius Randle to help Bam out on the front line, that's a huge boost for the Heat, and I think it's something that they really need, and it's no secret. The next thing I think the Heat should do is re-sign Gabe Vincent. I think he's a hell of a good player, scrappy defensively despite being a little undersized, excellent three-point shooter. He's someone that fits any team as like a high-end backup point guard. I don't think he's a starting point guard on a lot of championship teams, but he's a high-end backup point guard who can step in as a starter as well, obviously. And so I think bringing him back is a priority, regardless if you get a Fred VanVleet, regardless if you get a Damian Lillard, you can always use Vincent. And especially if you don't get those guys, Lowry's going to be 38 years old next season. You need Vincent to come back. I think a reasonable price for him would be somewhere between that $12 to $15 million range. So bring Gabe Vincent back is next. And then after that, I think you got to shop Tyler Herro, man. That's my fourth point. And that kind of links in with adding a star, because I think the only route to getting a star is if you shop and eventually trade Tyler Herro. He's the Heat's most lucrative asset and is a good enough player to be like the headline of like a blockbuster type deal, right? So shop Tyler Herro. You got to see what the interest level in the market is for him. And especially with that, like I said, with the new CBA kicking in next season and his extension kicking in, it's going to be a lot harder to shop him and trade him for a star a season from now, if it's even possible. I don't know the terms and conditions, man. Fuck. But yeah, shop Tyler Herro, see what you can get for him, and go from there, okay? And then lastly, you got to find a way to dump either Lowry or Robinson's contract, or Tyler Herro's as well. All three of those guys are on massive deals, right? Shout out to Kyle Lowry. He played, like I said, he played his heart out in the NBA Finals, but like I said, he's going to be 38 next season. He's going to be making $30 million. Fuck, that's like a huge net negative when it comes to the Heat salary cap situation. Duncan Robinson proved he's much more than just a shooter these playoffs, okay? Proved he can hold his own in terms of like, maybe not defensively, but like he can do a lot more than just shoot. He's one of those guys like Steph Curry where you have to glue onto him, and if you give him half a second like of room to shoot, he's going to make you pay for it. And then he also showed like a nice little driving ability, Jimmy Neutron, so look, shout out to him, but his contract is also a net negative as well. And then obviously you got Tyler Herro. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a net negative, but for $30 million, you could probably get better bang for your buck, okay? And so obviously, if they do end up landing a star, at least one of these guys is gone, and it's most likely Tyler Herro. But if they can find a way to get Duncan Robinson's money off the books, or Kyle Lowry's off the books, that would be a huge help as well. So look, that's all I've got in terms of the obvious next steps for the Miami Heat. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, okay? Which stars do you think they should pursue, right? Like, there's a lot of big names out there that are potential. You can even throw James Harden in the list there. They probably have some pretty good strip clubs in Miami. I don't fucking know, man. But thank you guys very much for watching the video. Like and subscribe, okay? I'm trying to get to 700 subs. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.